I was sent an invitation for an event at the Round. The delivery harlequin wouldn't tell me who it was from. That was curious enough in itself, because invitations to the Round are rare, and usually the giver is very open to saying who they are. But I always do a lot of work there, and usually know what's going on. I hadn't heard anything about a production going. I was excited about the prospect of being in the seats for once. When I'm there, I'm usually seated in the pit, with my imagination opened wide for the viewers to see, without seeing me. I'm an illusionist. I weave light around itself, and show people things they hadn't visually seen before. With one foot in the bank for source material, little hints of feelings from the audience occasionally, and cues from the others, working with me, it becomes a very beautiful cacophony of images. Unless a sour thought gets thrown into the mix. We banished a lot of the feeling-induced work when it started to get a bit darker. I blamed it on one of the new understudies, feeding bad images to the full illusionists like myself. Bad imagery. How this one got a recommendation, I haven't the slightest. I had gotten mine when I was in the Society's advanced classes several years ago. I got such a bad headache when I tried to control people that they sent me to a doctor. He was such a dear man. I didn't even feel him ease the headache away. He just told me some stories of people living outside the communes. They made me laugh. It was from him that I learned about becoming an illusionist. He was one for a while at the Round, and sent in one for me. I fell in love with the craft. The day of the event came, and I wondered what it was exactly as I bid my dear Harleys, Mara, and Jocelyn goodbye. Because of the headache from when I was younger, I had to have them a bit more self-sufficient than most people would like. The dears are still messengers for me and clean my loft, but I don't have to order them around so much. Those two are the closest things I have to daughters, totally obedient, smiling, and caring for each other and myself. I told them to do as they pleased, and headed out the door. The streets were clear as I made my way towards the Round. I handed my invitation to the usher and took a seat towards the middle, knowing there was little advantage to being up front. There weren't that many people in attendance by the time the lights dimmed. I settled in and watched the stage. My perception blurred for a second, and it suddenly seemed like I was sitting in a large amphitheater, sun brightly above my head. I looked to my sides and saw rows upon rows of people filling up the amphitheater. I was even suddenly wearing a tunic of sorts, and sitting close to the front and with a handful of better-dressed people in clean white togas with red accents. It's rare when there's a fully enclosed installation in the Round, since people can occasionally become a little taken away with what they are seeing, unless they can remove themselves from the illusion. There were two strongly muscled men standing out in the middle of the dirt stage. They were bare-chested and armed with swords and shields. Saluting one of the people to my left, they began to spar with each other. One was clearly better than the other, and soon began to beat the one back with his weapon. The crowd began to cheer lustily, and looking around I realized I couldn't see the other people that were present in the Round, since they had the illusion around them as well. There was an uproar from the crowd, and I looked back to the bottom of the amphitheater. The lesser swordsman had managed to give the other one a large gash on the chest. In response, the other man struck down with his sword, catching the other on his arm, ending its usefulness. Usually we don't allow blood in the illusions just because of how it might affect people. But this was beyond that. One man was surely going to kill the other given the context of the illusion. Something about this wasn't right. I sent a mental feeler into the area where the stage would be and felt no one sitting there conjuring like there would be normally. I pushed further into the stage and was surprised to feel the presence of two people. I suddenly realized what was going on. The two people hacking away at each other were real. I took myself out of the image and tried not to look at the bloody mess all over the actual stage, and hurried for the door. My least favorite understudy, Pierce, was standing by the door. He smirked at me as I walked up to him.
Hello, Ella.
Where is Harrison? I have to talk to him about this.
Harrison?
Little Prick was just trying to piss me off. He was actually watching the two men slaughtering each other on stage. Yes, the man in charge here. He took his eyes away from the stage and looked right in my eyes.
He's not here.
What? Who's running this production, then?
No one.
You've got to be kidding me, I thought. No one? He just raised his eyebrows and shook his head on his scrawny little neck. I couldn't take it anymore. Pierce is your superior. I order you to tell me what the hell is going on here.
A private showing. They occur like this occasionally. Not everyone likes a full illusion.
I thought there were laws against this sort of thing.
There are. But these people,
He gestured to the crowd.
they don't mind the rules since they're the ones that made them.
I looked back at the people who were there, and I saw familiar high-ranking peacemakers sitting there enjoying the whole spectacle. How did I end up with an invitation? You know how much I hated his feeding dark imagery to myself and the other illusionists. He gave me a look. You sent me this invitation, didn't you?
I did.
You little bastard. I stalked past him and out the door. He called after me.
Not everyone likes an illusion, Ella.